everybody, and welcome. What? 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 You've been away for 4 fucking weeks, and then you me during the fucking intro. Welcome, everybody, to the Fully Rendered Podcast. We have been away for 4 weeks. Apologies. This man over here has been in another country. Peachy, explain yourself.
Sorry, I just, as you were shouting at me, I got a call as well.
Yeah, I just said your phone going off.
There was a lot of info happening at once. Hello, hi, what a bit.
Explain yourself. Where have you been?
I have been outside.
Dun, dun, dun.
You touched grass?
He touched grass. Foreign grass.
Foreign grass. It was mostly sand, to be honest, but actually it wasn't sand because I fucking hate sand. It's dry and coarse and gets everywhere. Ugh, not a fan. But I've been in Greece, in Corfu, specifically in Corfu. That's the island that looks like a bit of a foot. It's like a little mini Italy shape, I guess.
Yeah.
It was banging. Temperature was great. It was like 21 to 23 degrees.
Nice.
Although the sun there is fucking Celsius, yeah. The sun is nuts, like, because like it's the same temperature that we would have here, but like it's so much more directly overhead that it's like
the sun is a deadly laser kind of thing.
Yeah. But you know, jumped in the sun, got a bit too hot, go in the cool, get a bit too cold, and it was fine. I used plenty of sunscreen and stuff, so I didn't.
What kind of
burn.
sunscreen? What SPF are you rocking?
50.
That's good.
That's
I know.
standard nowadays.
That should be the minimum.
Yeah, pretty much. Did you get
If you go over 50, it's like diminishing returns.
I think my mom wears 70.
Yeah, after 50, just the returns aren't like, it's still slightly better, but like by a very small amount. So I just got the 50.
I wear 50. I wear sunscreen every single day.
Yeah, but you live in New Vegas, so you need that.
Well, even if I don't go outside, I still wear sunscreen.
Oh,
the lady is
you should wear
wise.
sunscreen every day.
Pretty much, yeah. Keeps you young.
why?
Yeah.
If you don't go outside,
you should put it on in the morning and then make sure you wash it off at night because it does sit on your face.
That is one thing I really did not like, was I felt clammy and gross.
I use I get mine from Japan. I have a Japanese one that I really like. I've been using it for years.
Mine
I wear it every single day. I'm wearing it right now because I have a window. You never know where UV rays are coming. So
oh, right. I don't have windows. I've got blackout curtains. Maybe I need it for my ring light, though, because this thing can really start. This thing can fucking heat up.
Yeah. I don't know if
this is Corfu right now.
For the lights, but I mean, you guys, even my husband, it's like pulling teeth to get you to wear sunscreen. So
I'm sure as hell not wearing it inside.
I do wear sunscreen if I'm spending long time in the sun.
You kind of look at it from the perspective as you don't know when you're going to be exposed to sunlight, so you'd rather be prepared than anything. But
I have the benefit of living in South Wales, so I don't know what color the sky is here.
Gray.
Because it's always gray.
Well, apparently you have the power of the sun in your room.
True.
Because I know you got the lights behind you. So I mean, but like I said, I don't know how it impacts like indoor lighting. I'm pretty sure
it will have no impact whatsoever. the UV rays from indoor light is a very, very negligible amount. But yeah, it is something you should do. Everyone should do it. Yeah. I just don't unless I'm in the sun for prolonged times, like if I'm at a festival or something.
It's part of my skincare routine because I do my whole morning skincare routine. The last step is always sunscreen.
Yeah,
which
I think my girlfriend's concealer is like SPF something.
Yeah, it's pretty common for SPF protection to be in makeup nowadays in some form. But in Corfu, did you like, what were you doing? Were you just like chilling?
Yeah, I mean,
did you do any touristy shit?
We were in a very touristy area. I mean, Corfu is generally pretty tourist.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Which is kind of what I wanted because I'd never been like fully abroad flying somewhere before. So I'm like, what if, I get stuck and I can't communicate with people? Like everyone spoke English, including the Germans were there. Like everyone spoke English. So there was no, there was no anxiety about that. I knew I could go in anywhere, and like if I got stuck, I could ask for directions, right?
Yeah.
But nothing happened. We mostly chill. We were thinking about, oh, let's arrange everything, but like, no, let's not do that. Like we basically the day before we were like, oh, it's going to be overcast, so we went into Corfu town and we walked around the town and stuff. And oh, it's going to be raining, so we won't really do much, except we went for a 10K step walk while it was raining because it was really pleasant.
Yeah.
Like I'm Welsh. I love the rain, right? But over there, the rain was like kisses from little puppies. It was so nice, and it was really temperate. It was in fact so nice that after we came back from walk, we're obviously soaked because we'd walked for a long time in just constant rain.
Right.
We jumped into the pool, and the people who work at the resort we were at, a hotel type thing, were like, "Are you crazy?" Like they're wearing jackets. And
did they say it like that?
No, because they're not Italian. I don't know
whatever that accent was.
Yeah.
Accent was.
I don't know. See,
European.
Mamma mia.
All the Greek people I met were so fucking nice. Like just happy to exist and being, depressive Welshman. It was really nice.
You're
and
like,
the food
this is what
so...
optimism looks like. Is this
I
hope?
love Greek food, dude.
Is this hope?
So good.
Yeah, Greek food's really, really nice.
Yeah, Greek food is really good because it's the
for the most part, it's good for you too.
Yeah,
it's really fresh usually.
Well, it's the flavor profile I'm used to because there's a lot of like sort of Italian influences in their cuisine and stuff, but they've got these other flavors that in Italian cuisine you don't really taste. So it's like the flavor profile you understand, but with like a little bit of extra on it. And I fucking love gyros, euros.
Euros, yeah. Euros are really good.
Those are so good. And they were asking like, "Oh, do you not really have Greek restaurants?" And I'm like, "We do, but they're all
Turtle
fast
Bay.
food joints." You know what I mean? They're all like elephant leg out the front when you're on a piss up, and I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. We've got a Turtle Bay here in Nottingham, which is actually pretty good. Like it's pretty authentic. But obviously that's like a franchise kind of thing. And when you get to a franchise, it just feels a bit gimmicky rather than authentic, even though they know what they're doing.
One thing we did was we went to the more traditional taverners type restaurants because I was like, well, I want to try Greek food, not like, oh, here's Greek, but for tourists to eat. I wanted like traditional stuff, even though we were in quite a touristy place. But it was really nice there, and I would absolutely go back.
It was your first time on a plane, I assume?
Yes. Well, apparently I was on a plane when I was a little child, which I don't remember. But I fucking love flying. It is so cool.
Right.
Wait, this is so for the most part, like this is your first time flying?
Yes.
Abroad altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much abroad. Since I was like a child, I hadn't been abroad.
That's interesting.
Have you been abroad, like outside of the US?
When I was a child.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandparents are from the Czech Republic, so when they were still alive, I went to go visit.
Right.
I go visit family with them, but they passed away when I was very young, so I don't remember anything. But they're from Prague, so that's where I went apparently.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been to mainland Europe since my grandparents, my German ones, died. I've literally had no reason to be honest. So it's just like okay, but then of course I've been to the States. And I'll be going to the States again this year.
Because I want to go visit Prague again as an adult. And his family's from Ireland. Like Barry, like there's a lot of Irish in his family, so he wants to go visit.
Right.
After like going fairly far, what is it, 2,000 kilometers, whatever. Like to a tourist area, safe area that I'm not like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. I feel a lot more confident in just maybe jumping on a train and going, to Germany, to France, wherever.
Yeah. It's like, this is nothing. I could go there in in a matter of hours kind of thing. Yeah. It's nice. If only we were still in the EU.
It's a lot easier for you to go abroad.
Yeah, you can get on a train from where I live, basically, and in France. So in Calais.
I mean, for the most part, all we have is like I could go up or I could go up or down.
Yeah, when we were in the EU, we could literally just on a whim, like, we'll go to France today. and then you just fuck off to France. Whereas now we have to fuck around with visas and stuff again.
That's wild. I mean, we have, because like, especially like because I grew up in California, which is such a huge state in and of itself, that going like just to get to where we live now was an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
So, so it's not. I mean, when you're on like the East Coast, it's a lot different because it's easier to go from state to state. Because a lot of the states are a little bit more closer together and they're smaller.
Yeah.
It's when you're in those big ones. But San Diego, like I was like, that was like 3 hours from where I used to live, which like just right there is Mexico.
Yeah. I'm going to be going to San Diego this year. Can't wait. October for TwitchCon.
It's very humid. If you're going during the summer, it's very humid.
No, I've been before. I actually like the weather there. I'm quite fond of it. In October, it was lovely last time we went. So I'm very, very happy. Also, it's a really, really nice city to hang out in. But Pope, you've got a new PC.
I did. I got rid of. Well, I still have my old PC. It's in the closet right now. And I have a.
Let it be gay, Pope. God.
I was gonna say that just sounded like somewhat ominous. It was like, yeah, it's in the closet right now. It's been a very bad computer.
I still have stuff
Get in your hole.
I transferred like pretty much everything that was important on it, but you never know. And I just ordered when it got here. I got a pre-built from NZXT because my brother built my last one, and my husband Kev, when he way back when we were still living back in our old place, his computer died and he was using a laptop for a while, so he went and got a pre-build with NZXT, and he's had an amazing experience with his. And mine, it got delayed a bit, but I think that a lot of that has to do with the shortage for the 5070 Ti's.
Yeah.
It only finally showed up 2 days ago.
Damn.
So it's very new. So all my settings are very different right now.
I'm still fixing settings when I reinstall Windows, so I enjoy this month.
Well, when I came in here for the podcast, like all my settings were all screwy there. When I import everything to OBS, because I just export my settings.
Yeah, it
still wasn't like right where it needed to be. So I still had some, like before I started streaming yesterday, I had to fix that, and also I was explaining to everyone that my I don't know how, because I can't hear myself, but my mic settings got completely nuked, had to redo them, and when I was working on them yesterday or 2 days ago, I was just not in the mood to do it. So with the mixer, it has like, the speaking area and everything. And I'm like, my voice wasn't even hitting the speaking area. And I'm like, maybe I should turn up that gain.
Were you using
straight in my stream.
Everyone's
like, turn your gain.
Were you using the auto like thing? Because isn't there like a wizard on the Beacon mixer software?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You change all your settings there. Because I mean, the mic doesn't really work. I'm sure it does without it, but they don't want you to use it without it. So, and it has a mixer all built in there, and it's not difficult to use at all, but it can be when you're going in. I'm like, my settings are gone. I don't remember what I had.
Yeah, because I remember when I was recommending it to you, because one of the reasons I recommended it is because there should be like an auto setup button where you just press it and then it will go, oh, this is your voice. We need to bump up the gain to bring you up there and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's very like it's very accommodating. With my case is that I got it where I really liked it, and I can't because my computer's I don't have all the cords. Like I don't have spare cords. I mean, I was even telling Cav yesterday, I was like, dude, I should have screenshotted it. I exported the profile. Like I went on Beacon's website. I went on the Reddit too. And like in the Beacon Reddit's very helpful. Because I was saying, I'm getting a new computer, need to export my settings. And they told me how to do it. And I did exactly what they told me to do, but it didn't import the mic settings. It just imported my my mixer settings. So I was like, great. Right. So I thought about it after the fact. I was like, I should have screenshotted the at least the mic settings just so I had it a visual to even just to compare.
Just a reference, yeah.
That's the thing with settings like that. When you get it to how you like it, you set it and forget about it. It's not something you tweak every day, so it's not.
You don't really think about it.
Do it.
Yeah, and that's just like the biggest annoyance. But so I also ordered my capture card because I had the Elgato Z internal, the HD60 Pro from I had that since like 2018. So that's still on the old computer. So I just ordered the 40K or the 4K.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So that because it was like $60 off on Amazon, so I picked up one of those.
Nice.
Yeah. So that, but I can't get it until next week because it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yay!
We've got a holiday.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
We've got a holiday on Monday as well. What's our bank holiday for? Do you know?
Is it my birthday?
Well, it could be.
Has the UK finally appreciated me, Peachy Nicolay?
Maybe.
The day of the peach.
Bank holiday Monday, Peachy birthday. Yeah, we've got a bank holiday for one reason or another. I don't know. It's probably some royal's birthday or death or baptism. I don't know. There's a reason.
I guess I just need to know if the shops are open or not, and if I need to go to the shops or not.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, I've not actually been up to it very much. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, a lot of Overwatch as well. And I've been doing voice acting stuff.
You know that annoying Discord thing that tells you what people have been doing that I forgot to turn off when I reinstalled?
The activity thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, returning player to Overwatch. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Discord.
Now, I've been playing Marvel Rivals with some people that Kat introduced me to, and we play it like most nights. But there's times where we're like, we're not in the mood for Rivals today. Let's just fuck around in Overwatch instead, and then we'll bounce between them. And it's been oddly pleasant. It's because I originally stopped playing Overwatch because it was super toxic and I couldn't be fucked with it. Like a lot of the Blizzard games I was playing, like Heroes of the Storm was the same, and it just seems to have chilled the fuck out now. Like I don't know if they've been
because everyone's fucking left.
Well, I think it's like because it's doing pretty well. I would say.
Is it?
Like it's I think
Overwatch?
Yeah, they're still doing like reasonably well. They're still probably both Rivals and Overwatch like neck and neck, I would say, in terms of popularity.
Okay.
Obviously on Steam it will be lower for Overwatch because most people play it on the Battle.net launcher.
Yeah.
But I would say they're just about even. But I think it's more of a case of Overwatch and a lot of competitive games in general have been setting the bar and being like, no, don't be a toxic fuck or we will actually just ban you kind of thing. And like Riot obviously have been like leading that race, and for example they've been going quite ham with that sort of thing, like being toxic in chat and whatnot. So for the most part it's been pretty chill.
League will never achieve that because it's always been aggressive.
Well, with League I find most of the toxicity is in game with the actual like playing rather than in the chat now, because again Riot have been getting like really heavy handed with it. But you'll still get people smurfing, throwing games and stuff like that, which is a bit more difficult to prove, I suppose. Whereas if someone's just being a racist bigot in chat, it's just like, okay, you're banned. Like, you're just straight up banned. Oh, you've been toxic. Oh, you're using voice comms and you're shouting at a woman for no reason. Okay, you're banned. So, you know, I think in that regard, it's gotten a little bit better. But I don't play League because smurfs and bullshit as a new player is really, really annoying.
I haven't played League for a very long time.
Yeah, I tried it when Arcane Season 1 came out. So I was like, I do actually really like these characters, so I'm going to check them out. And I got really good at the lady who throws daggers or can control daggers or whatever. I can't remember her name. And she can surf on them and shit like that.
By the way,
yeah.
I started watching Arcane.
Oh, you started watching it? I thought you already had. Yeah, Arcane's sick.
No, remember you were talking about it, and I was like, I never got around to it. Kevin and I just got through season 1.
Yes.
And we're on, I think we just watched the first episode of season 2.
Ooh,
he does not like Jinx.
Really? Well,
every time she shows up, he's like, I don't like her. And I'm like,
right.
So,
I think that's a good thing.
He's funny to watch shows with because he gets like, if he gets it in his head he doesn't like someone, he's very vocal.
I think that's a good thing.
did very well with making Jinx a complete bitch. I don't think they made she's not sympathetic enough, so I totally understand his vibe.
Well, like I think what surprised me is that she wasn't really that present in the first season. I thought she was a lot more. She was going to be around a lot because
she gets more characterization in the second season.
It was about Jinx, and I thought she was going to be the main protagonist. And I was like, oh no, it's Vi. She's the main character. I feel like.
I think that's right. I think that's correct for sure.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I feel like they sell it more hard on Jinx too, and then it's completely opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's a great show.
I
It's
think
great.
the reason for that is because Jinx is like the most marketable character that Riot's got. Like, you go to a convention, it's like, look, there's 40,000 Jinxes at a 50,000 occupancy convention kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
very popular
it also,
character.
do you know what it kind of reminds me of? A better version of Avatar, not the Last Airbender, the Korra, Legend of Korra. I get a lot of because of that steampunky.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a better storytelling.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed Korra, but yeah,
some of the characters. I think it's because some of the character models remind me of Korra, Legend of Korra, and I'm like, oh man, that's just gonna be in my head the rest of the day.
Season 2, I think the characterization is better than season 1, and I think the animation like really pushes from season 1.
That was something that was interesting. So I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I knew it was animated. And from what I saw, like I didn't know what to expect, but the first episode or two took me a minute to get used to.
Yeah, it's a mixture of 2D and 3D.
It was like kind of uncanny at some points. I think it's because their faces move more than normal people, and that's what was throwing me off. Like hyper realistic, but also like so anime where you're like,
I think the storytelling, the overarching storytelling in season 2 is a lot weaker than season 1 because season 1 was very tight about the story. I think the smaller stories and world building and that stuff is good in 2, but I think the overarching story in season 2 it's because it's a lot bigger and wider. It's not as good and as focused as season 1 was, but it's probably the better show. But I think you should.
No, I mean, so far I've really enjoyed it, and the plot. Like it feels like the plot really isn't that as interesting as the character dynamic or character relationships.
The character stuff they really focus on that.
That's why I think it kind of reminded me of like Legend of Korra, where I'm like, okay, like the character interactions are great, like the with Bryan and what's her face, Caitlyn. You know, I like the character interactions more than the actual plot. Like I'm not really that interested in the plot. I feel because I think it's not really anything groundbreaking.
The plot is overtly complex and overarching, so you kind of lose sight of it, and then because they focus more on characters acting together. That's what I think it's fine. I don't think it's bad. It's just first season,
I'm not complaining.
That story was laser focused, like from where it started to where it was going, and the second one isn't quite that. But I haven't gotten
we're only one episode into season 2, so we haven't. Yeah, so I don't know anything about that. I know there's a couple points in like in one where I'm like I just couldn't be asked with it was more the council members. Where I'm like, am I supposed to care about these?
No.
And
you're supposed to.
I know. But I remember when we're like trying to count. We're like, how many died?
Yeah. You're supposed to care about the people who cared about the council, not the council themselves. Yeah. I think you're in for a treat.
Because we were watching the first episode and Kevin forgot who Caitlyn's mom was.
Well, they do not get.
I was like, her mom died, didn't she? Just like,
the main characters get
spoilers, by the way, but it's just one episode.
The main characters get filled out so much more, so it does feel like.
And I think that's what it is.
These things exist so these characters can do what they need to do. You know.
Yeah. You have your placeholders that they serve their purpose to get one character from point A to point B. But then when something happens to him, it's like, am I supposed to care?
Having said that, there are some like I think you're in for a treat. I think there's gonna be some moments where you're gonna be like, fuck, that just ruined my day, but in like a good way kind of thing, you know? Like you're just gonna be like so emotional about some events that will occur. And at the end, you're also gonna be like, wait, what the fuck happened to that guy? What happened to that? Like, I want to know what happened to that guy. There was this one background character I actually gave a fuck about. What happened to him, kind of thing. And there'll be like loads of like little side characters who are like, wait, they were telling a small background story, and you don't know what happened with that background story. It just goes and fizzles out because they focus on Jinx and V and the other main cast.
Yeah. It is kind of funny because every time so far what we've seen is like with Vi, just like she shows up everywhere. I'm like, why is she here again?
She's like Angela Lansbury, isn't she?
She's always what was it during the funeral in the first episode too? And just like, Why is she there?
Well,
she's a
there
vagrant.
because she
I know she's everywhere. It's like convenient, but I mean, it's
they
fine.
contrive reasons for her to be there. It's not like
some of the storytelling's a little contrived for my taste, but that's just how it goes. You got to get the ball rolling somehow, and you got to put
for sure
certain characters.
The animation in season 2, where they go full on artist, like just explosion with it. When that first happened, it was like jolt, but I was like, "Fuck me, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, the animation is phenomenal.
Well, the action sequences are really decent too.
One thing, if you ever give it a second watch, especially if you watch both seasons again, in season 2 in particular, there are so many small references to like things that happened in previous episodes. Like you'll see someone using a glass, and it'll be like a flashback or something. You'll be like, wait, that's the glass from that scene, and it's got significance. And you'll be like, wait, there's a head in this jar. That's the head from a character from this episode, and stuff like that. There's so many little Easter eggs. There's so many of them.
Some of my favorite. Any show that gives me show or game or any kind of piece of media that gives me that kind of makes it a more valuable experience to like rewatch it, revisit it. Like I always talk about, like I'm like, if anybody's watched my stream, I'm gonna sound like a broke record. I talk about like how Arrested Development's one of my all-time favorite shows. It's my comfort show, and it's because of that same reason. You go back and there's always something new in the background. Even still to this day, after seeing it like 6 or 7 times, there's always a new background gag.
In the first season,
like I love stuff. I love background storytelling. It's one of my favorite things that is not used enough, I feel. That's great. I love hearing that.
In the first season, all the Easter eggs that are in the second one from the first one, all the Easter eggs in the first season are basically from the game. So when I'm watching that, I'm like, oh, that's really cute. Oh, I noticed that. And I was like, oh, people who don't play the game are going to miss out on this. But now you get to join in as well because they filmed it from the first season.
I feel like that was something that kind of deterred me from watching the first season when it first came. Because I remember when it first came out, a lot of people talking about it and singing its praises. And I never played League. I have no interest in League. I knew people who enjoyed League, and they were terrible. They were terrible people. No, not everyone who plays League is terrible. I'm talking about people.
You suck. You're horrible, evil people.
No. It's like they're like.
You're the reason I'm still.
Like my association was like, man, that guy was an asshole. Oh, of course he played League. But not everyone plays League.
All the Easter eggs were not story important, apart from one, which is the doctor guy who is singed, for like so I knew what he was going to be doing. Even though they rolled in the Warwick stuff, but that's not important right now.
But that was a concern. It was like I would go in and be kind of lost because I wasn't. I had
their own story.
I didn't even, like. I think I've only seen Jinx and like people I knew, like girls I knew who cosplayed as her, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
League changed its lore based on Arcane. Yeah, because Arcane had
did they really?
Arcane's basically retconning everything, and because League as a game at the moment, if you take out Arcane currently, is literally like here's 20 billion stories that we just mashed together. So they're using because Arcane is the first of the League universe.
I feel like with any kind of hero like game that's dedicated around their heroes or champions like that, and like League, it's like it's really hard to formulate a cohesive story when you have that many options. So I think that if anything, Arcane did League a favor.
Yes, it has. Absolutely.
In that, because I feel the same way. It's like I'm sure there's like some deep lore with like all like Overwatch characters or any of these, anytime there's a hero shooter, but like unless you're giving a lot of dedicated time to it, most people are not going to go in there seeking out that lore especially for that kind of gameplay.
Well, with Overwatch, obviously it was kind of it came from an MMO, so the lore was already pre-established and they were able to build on that. Whereas with League, it was patchworked together as each character came out. Arcane, season 1 and season 2 are obviously set in one specific location and deal with one specific set of characters. There is going to be another season. It's not going to be called Arcane, but it's going to be in the Arcane universe, but it's going to be in a location called Noctis, and then that will visit a whole bunch of other characters that we've yet to see.
So that's not a bad idea, because this would give them an opportunity to flesh out more characters within their game.
And there's going to be some characters from Arcane that are going to be in the new one.
Because you don't have to stay in one area. Just go like, hey, look, this is in the same universe. but we have all these characters that haven't even been mentioned.
Exactly, yeah. And then, like I said, it's retconning anything,
So
everything.
it's kind of like they can go on for a while, actually, when you think about it.
They're going to make a fuckload of money from it. Like
when you're making an League, a MOBA, you make the characters first, and they do fun things, and then you're like, okay, we need to explain why. And they just throw it at the wall, right? Because it's not as important as having a fun experience in the game. But with Arcane, that's the focus. The storytelling is the focus. So they start to bring it together. They're influenced by lots of stuff, but they're like, no, we don't like that. We're just gonna forget about that and change it. And League has been evolved because of that, which it's for the best, because the game developers, although they've got some good storytellers there, that's not their focus. So
yeah, no, for sure. It's like when I played out Deadlock just for a little bit, and that was when I discovered I don't like MOBAs. But there were characters in you're drawn to some of them because of it's all mostly aesthetic, but it's like, man, I just want to know what's your story?
You want to find someone who fits your vibe.
What's your story?
100%. Cool. Should we start
talking
about...
I derailed the conversation because I heard Arcane. I was like, oh yeah, I meant to tell you that.
No, it's sick. I'm actually genuinely stoked for you to watch season 2, and I look forward to your reactions.
We've been doing an episode a night. After I'm done streaming, Kevin and I sit on the couch, and because he's excited to eat popcorn, that's literally.
It's like, oh, it's popcorn time.
He'll only eat popcorn when we watch or something. So he's like, can we go watch some Arcane so I can go eat popcorn?
Nice. Yeah, I look forward to you finishing it, and maybe we can.
Yeah, I'll let you know when we're done. We'll probably be done next week.
Bryan,
we'll definitely buy it next episode.
Peachy,
I would like to shit on a AAA game, please.
Okay. So, recently, if you are not aware, which is going to be a rather difficult thing to do because it was all over the place, Marathon, a game that hasn't really been doing well in the public eye already. Especially when Arc Raiders came out and destroyed it in terms of viewership and reviews and stuff like that, has taken another blow, this time to the knee, and they are plagiarizing an artist for the 4th time.
Not just plagiarizing.
Yeah, so it's from the beginning.
For people who don't know,
story time. So there is a artist on Twitter called Anti-Real. She's based in Scotland, and she does a very specific art style and has done so for around about a decade. To be clear,
corporate realism.
Yeah, and to be clear, she didn't create this art style. It's been around for a while. It's just not many people do it. It's a very similar art style to what you would have seen in the old Wipeout games, for example. And also, another little caveat to throw in, the art director has also been a fan of this art style, and he himself has done stuff in that art style for quite a number of years. Yeah, there's literal work that you can go back to decades ago that you can see he's done. But there was a tweet chain that she posted out saying, I've noticed some things after the alpha early access thing that was done through Marathon, and I was looking at things and going, oh, that looks like mine, that also looks like mine, and that also looks like mine. In fact, I can show you some of it on screen.
Imagine being in her position, seeing that. Jesus.
So, for example, this is some of her artwork.
Earn a lot of money and can easily afford rent, so seeing that is probably good.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this segment here is some of Anti-Real's work, and here is literal copy and pasting of that same asset in aspects of Marathon. It doesn't stop there. There is a number.
Have you got the monochrome one? Green monochrome one.
Yeah, some of them they've swapped the colors around.
The one, it's the one with the 28.
There was one I remember that I think that's the one. Yeah, that was the one that they just swapped the colors around.
Yeah, they've literally taken the symbols, they've taken some
of the
text.
Or flipped something. It's it's crazy.
The most
it's
obvious
really
thing
egregious.
Is the fact that it's the text as well. It's literally word for word, and they've maybe tarnished it a bit, and it's you've clearly copy and pasted it.
They left her name in one of the textures. They took her logo, her own artist logo, and put it in the game. It's egregious. It is absolutely
it's very egregious. And not only that, it's they also bastardize her work by flipping around and they're trying to change it just a little bit, but it's still her work, no matter what. You distort it a little bit, like in the blue, on this one you're showing right here, or like how they flip the triangles around and remove the yellow square. It's like that doesn't change the fact and it's not yours.
In this tweet chain that she did, she stated that there wasn't really anything she was going to do about it because obviously a big corporation, Sony owned corporate.
There's no point.
And she was like, "There's not a lot I can do about it."
They have enough money that they'll bury her.
Yeah. So and she was like, "I'm just kind of annoyed that no one bothered to like just literally reach out to me because I would have probably been okay with it, like if they at least gave me credit or something."
But that's what's so crazy about this is how as large of a company as Bungie is, how difficult, especially finding out that a lot of people who are working at Bungie follow her.
Yeah.
And they've been following her.
Yeah.
So that what's so nuts is how difficult, how much money would it have cost you to just to avoid all of this negative press, to just contact her and say, "We like your work. We'd like to hire you to work on this project." Instead, just like, how did you think you were going to get away with that?
So likewise, in the tweet chain that she did answer a couple of questions where someone was like, "Wait, doesn't the art director follow you?" And she was like, "Yes, we've never communicated, but he has followed me for a number of years." Obviously, Marathon, I believe, started development in 2018. It had a bit of like rebooting in the development a couple of times and developer hell, but yeah, there's a number of
one
other
of the art pieces was posted in 2017, which was another egregious one that she'd been posting them for a while, even though the project started in 2018. There was
a number of employees that actually follow her and have done for a while. Obviously this all then blew up, and then Bungie have acknowledged it. Now how they acknowledged it was kind of weird, because initially they acknowledged it from a tweet from their like side accounts, like I think it was called Marathon Dev rather than one of the main Marathon accounts, and it was on a Friday afternoon, which is obviously like in terms of media a historically quiet time where you would usually release stuff that you don't want most people to see. So they're like, "Oh yeah, it was an old employee, he doesn't work for us now, but he like just put the textures into like some kind of repository."
The former employee excuse.
Yeah, so
yes.
an ex-Bungie employee this time. In other times, they've blamed contractors and stuff like that. And then they did...
running of ex-employees to blame.
Yeah, so there was the Nerf gun one. There was some concept art that they ripped and then put it in a cinematic or something like that. And there was another one.
Because the third party thought it was official art, because art is that good.
Yeah. There was another one. There's another... really shitty, like when I say shitty, I mean like the person who's trying to sue is being a bit of a dickhead and claiming that Bungie have ripped off his story. They haven't, which is called Red War or something like that. But in terms
is that the lawsuit that Bungie is also involved in right now?
So someone is suing Bungie for allegedly plagiarizing the storytelling or the actual story or the plot, because it's similar to his book, but it's basically like, I have large space marine like characters and they go to war against these aliens that just happen to have the same name, and it's like a really obvious name to give aliens. To be honest, like it's a
little weak.
I can be honest, that one does feel like hey, give me 20 grand.
Yeah.
And I'll go away.
Yeah. So it's not one of those ones, but art wise there's 4 now with this one included. So
in regards to lawsuits with her, I think it's smarter that even without like the financial aspect, that we know what Bungie would do is they would bury her. I think this would the publicity alone from this is just going to benefit her.
Because of the publicity of this, they can do that.
Yeah. So I think she's gonna be okay.
Well, in the past, they have allegedly compensated previous like artists that they accidentally ripped off. Although one of them has said that they still haven't actually received their payment. So
shocker.
There is a bit of he said, she said there, but they do allegedly go, okay, yeah, we've been caught, let's say, or
who's like a direct competitor of Bungie
at the moment. If we're talking about Marathon,
at the moment, it's fucking Concord, mate. Jesus Christ!
Well, no, Concord this game.
Yeah.
Concord Marathon entirely. It's no one. Just wash your hands of it at this point. Just
I would like to use my bias and tell you why this is corporate's fault.
Go on.
So, like, how many employees has Bungie seen whilst working on this game? They have laid off so many fucking people. This is why there is some credence to, an old person that used to work for us. There's a mix-up and stuff. I think that Marathon is so fucking mismanaged that they have lost so much knowledge by firing swaths of people, just kicking them out the door.
Well, the thing that gets me is the fact that it's a lot of studios that are doing this, because I remember Naughty Dog getting the same getting in the same shit, where they'll hire these people, a lot of these devs as independent contractors, and then they use them for like I don't know how much time, and then they just get rid of them.
Yeah, for sure. So that's how game development seems to work with AAA.
No, I know, but, I know that
because like everyone seems to hate mismanagement. Every dev that's been kicked out of there has basically said, "Team is great, management has no idea what they're doing, and all they care about is profit over player experience and whatever gets that job done." So when you're talking about a AAA developer now, which is essentially a sweatshop for grown adults, all that information, maybe like there might be credence to that texture was on a mood board, like a Pinterest board. And then that's been rolled in because those people, that team has gone, and other artists have inherited their work, has gone, oh, that's really cool, I'll use that, not knowing what it was. Because people get fired on the day, like a Friday, so they can't come back in and sort out their shit. So corporate doesn't have to deal with anyone being angry and shit. I think people at the top management have just basically pushed money, get it done, let's do this, I don't care about anything else, we need to get paid, because they are in shit financially. We've heard a lot of stories about this needs to sell or they're fucked. And because of this high turnover, because people are being worked to the bone, shit is being missed. And anything that's been approved already by management can go through no problem. But anything that they dream up on the spot has to go through basically a lot of suits saying no, maybe. Right? So they go, well, this is done, this is approved, I'll use this. And I think what has happened is knowledge has been lost. An art person has seen that cool fucking image and gone, oh, that's really good. I'm glad that the art team did that. But that old art team was like, oh, no, this was just a mood board on what we were making.
So like miscommunication, you think?
I think people are too tired and overworked, and there is too much going on. There are too many moving parts, and management has no idea how to deal with this other than say, no, we follow this path only. That this shit is not only going through the
mood board there's nothing wrong with using her artwork as for a mood board, because so
this is not only like fall through the cracks, but also people who might have brought this up to management like, no, forget about it, that's not important, we'll just go. That's definitely... So I think there are developers bringing this up, some of the art team and stuff, but it's like, oh, I'll pass this on up the chain, and the chain's gone, and then they've forgotten about it because they don't care about that.
I can certainly see that being a thing. I can definitely imagine someone going, oh, look, I've got loads of like references and it's in this folder, and then they disappear, and then another person who replaces them goes, ooh, some of the old employees' artwork, not realizing it's actually someone else's, and then they've gone with it.
Been picked up as not their artwork, and it's been passed up, and nothing's been done about it.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, so another thing, after they did that tweet, they had a live stream that was supposed to show a bunch of gameplay.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was a brutal live stream, dude.
They ended up not showing the gameplay because they were scrubbing all of the gameplay for assets that could be plagiarized. And they had the art director and the game director, and the art director was sat there like a fucking potato, just looking at the chat, and the chat was ripping him apart. Absolutely destroying him. I would have hated that. And at the end of the day, the buck does stop with him.
It does.
He should have caught that.
He is responsible for that.
No, he is. He's absolutely responsible. And that's what I'm saying. Like, while I understand what you're saying about, miscommunication and just things getting lost in the sauce with, all these moving parts, I'm not going to be that charitable with Bungie, because this is not the first time with this.
The fact it's the fourth.
Yes,
and so egregious.
I'm just
and they
saying,
follow
this
the
is
artist.
reason,
No, I understand
not
what
the
you're
excuse.
saying. I'm
It's
just
not the
saying,
excuse, it's the reason.
the thing is, like, there isn't an excuse anymore. There's no excuses.
no
I don't care what happened, because this isn't the first time with this IP that they've been caught. And and that's why I'm just saying, like, I'm in the camp, just scrap it. Just get rid of the game. No, I wasn't even interested in Marathon before. I'm never going to touch it.
Well, that's the thing as well.
This game isn't even feature complete when people are playing closed beta. Nobody likes this fucking game.
No one cares about it anymore.
Numbers have dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
What makes it even worse is the people who did like it primarily liked it because of the fucking artwork. And now that's been tainted. Now it's art raiders in comparison to arc raiders. That name has stuck. That has literally stuck.
So, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This IP wasn't that really popping to begin with. I remember when it was first announced, and I remember, like, when we were talking about it one time, and it was like the first, like, look at it, and I was just like,
I remember seeing the art.
I think it's like, the art style's cool.
Yeah, like when it was first announced, I do recall being like, oh, that looks cool, and then they showed gameplay, and then it was like, oh, that kind of looks mediocre.
Yeah,
and then we saw
I
even
don't
more.
remember any of us being very thrilled with it. So, like, but
I mean, initially I was just annoyed that it wasn't another marathon. It was a whole new thing, basically.
Yeah.
But to be fair, anytime, like, any news of marathon that would come out, I just wasn't interested. I wasn't looking for it. And but then all of this just starts coming out, and it's like, so you already had your fan base in two camps. You had, like, people who were interested and people who weren't. Maybe you can try to convert those people who weren't, show them some cool gameplay or whatever, or entice them with the art style. Because sometimes that's enough. Like, I bought games just because I like the art style.
They look cool, yeah.
Maybe not be the best game, but whatever. Sometimes I'm that shallow. But any opportunity to convert those people who weren't interested in the beginning, that's a lost cause at this point.
Yeah.
Like, those people are not coming. And then you also, whatever goodwill you've had with the people who were, like, there's always gonna be ride or die for, like, Bungie fam. Like, you got your Destiny boys, you got your Halo boys.
Bungie are a legendary company.
They are. I love it. Like I'm a big fan of Halo. I wish I liked Destiny more. I played Destiny multiple times. It's just so
they killed it with money. They killed Destiny with greed.
They did. And it's a shame because, like, Kev loves Destiny and he played a lot of it, and anytime there's a new expansion, he would get really excited, and because I got into it late, it's too difficult to get into as a new player.
Right.
But I completely respect, like, if you're like ride or die Destiny, of course, like, if you've been there since the beginning, I understand. But, like, you had these two, like, these groups, like, you had people who were there from the beginning for Halo, and maybe who came from Destiny. Whatever goodwill you have with those people, that's gone too. So there might be a few people who still, like, no matter what, it's like, I'm here for you, Bungie. Yeah. But, like, they're not. They need to scrap the project at this point. I don't know what they should do.
Well,
I really don't.
That's the thing. Like, it's too big to die at this point. Because you've got to bear in mind, Sony bought Bungie for 3.8 billion, nearly $4 billion. So they've already chopped up Bungie as much as they possibly can because of previous failure to reach whatever numbers they had set. So
and the scary thing is, I don't want to see a studio like Bungie go under, but, like, this is unfortunately, like, making business decisions like this could potentially bring them under.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to do a Concord to it. Like I said, I think it's too big to die. I think they're going to try and recover it as much as possible. I'm expecting a delay. It was supposed to be coming out in September, which I was shocked by anyway. Delay. Yeah, I reckon
this needs retooling of the entire company structure.
I agree with Peachy. They need to completely revamp everything internally before I don't know, like,
which could take
out
6 months.
3 years then, at least, because you need to restructure entirely.
Yes. and then you need to start working on the game and gutting a lot of that game, and also hiring the fucking
They
artist
might
that
as well
designed
start
it.
it all over. Like that's the sad thing is like at this point they need to have to start all over on the game.
Their only option is to give her a lot of money, to give her blessing, then retool the company, then work on the game and make something fun that people want to play. Nobody.
That's why I was asking, who's been Bungie's biggest competitor? Because man, that would be the biggest slight if somebody like who was a competitive studio just swooped in, hired her as an art director on again a big project.
Brian's right though, because of Concord. If Sony just Concord this, that's not a thing they can do.
That's the other angle as well. Like one, it's too big to
I'm not
kill.
saying that that's the best business decision. I'm more commenting on the fact that from like unfortunately when it comes to like any hope for making any sales in this game, it's like it's either like completely revamp it, push it back a couple years, not just one.
Well, the other angle is
and that's a lot of money too, to push a game out or to delay a game because you're gonna have to start from the very beginning, and it maybe even change the name of it too, because Marathon's now going to be associated with this.
Yeah.
Like what a
there is no way back. It's a year, 2 years down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other angle is
which would be more, which actually would be the better business decision, which be fiscally, like actually like scrapping the project entirely and go with something new.
No.
Or try to completely revamp it, which I think would cost equally as much, if not more.
No, because the amount that's been put in to build this is a lot more than it would be to retool. Like, look at expansion packs.
Time to scrub it.
If you look at expansion packs of video games, they've made the game, and then they do like an extra with all the stuff they've already made and little.
They've already got the assets and stuff in the engine.
That is a lot of work. That is a lot of money and time.
The other angle,
build all those things.
But what they could do is they can use the engine for something else.
Well, the other angle is they can't do it because it would be embarrassing. And I know that sounds really silly at first, but they just had Concord. They just shit canned the game in 2 weeks. And if they shit can a second game, their second attempt at a live service, their stakeholders are leaving.
Yes. Stakeholders. Embarrassment does matter for stakeholders because they're like, no, you're fucked.
When it comes to these big corporations, that's what matters. It's not about the client. It's not about who works there. It's not about your customer base. It's about the fucking stakeholders. That's at the end of the day who is most important in decisions like this.
Because of that, that's why they will have to try and recover it. Because if it does get shit canned, they will not only lose probably Bungie as a company, but they'll lose a fuckload of stakeholders as well.
It's so frustrating to see. It's really so frustrating to see. I've been a fan of Bungie since since Halo. I've been pretty soured on them since what they did with Marty O'Donnell. But it's so frustrating to see, and what is the right move? Unfortunately,
Concord gives Marathon a chance to come out eventually.
Yeah. If Concord didn't happen, Marathon would have been taken out back and shot. But because Concord happened, now it can't be taken out back and shot.
If Concord came out and was okay, middle in reviews, some people played it and stuff, and wasn't an abject failure, this would be cut
too, though.
Oh yeah,
but they can't.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go to break, and then we will come back and talk about a Warhammer update that Peachy has got for us. Warhammer games. There's been a lot of announcements. Go have a tinkle, maybe have a poo, weigh yourself before and after, get a drink, stretch your legs. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. See you in a bit. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of the Fully Rented podcast. We're going to jump straight into it, and Peachy has some announcements to discuss within the realm of Warhammer. Take it away, Peachy.
So here's the segment that I am naming every time I do this. You have done it, Horus the Heresy. You have become the Warhammer 40,000. So the Skulls event is that's a joke for me and Warhammer nerds. You're welcome.
Okay.
The Warhammer Skulls event. So every year they do a festival of Warhammer video games, and there are a fucking lot of them, and they're a lot better than they used to be. We've got like huge discounts on a lot. I think there's like 70% discounts on some stuff. So you like Warhammer games and on what?
Vermintide 2 up to 90%. That's
Vermintide
2.37 for Vermintide 2, which recently got an update.
Pretty good. It recently got an update, didn't it? Yeah, 60% on Darktide, which you might want to pick up. That'll come up in a bit.
Gladius Relics of War is free.
Nice.
100% discount. Holy. All right, continue.
We've got Speed Freaks coming out. Full disclosure, I think I was given an early access look at this before, and I'll be getting a key for when it releases as well. Which actually I think it's released now. It is no longer a free-to-play game. It's like what is it, 15 quid? It's a lower price game. It's no longer free-to-play. They've taken out all the free-to-play stuff, and then it's bundled into a lower cost game, which is a car combat game, but you're orcs. So you're basically football hooligans in cars, and you're green. So yeah, that's coming out, no longer free to play, which is probably for the best, I think. I think that's a good thing. We've had a new release of Boltgun Words of Vengeance, which I'm not going to play because I'm not interested, but it is Typing of the Dead. But you are the protagonist, Raoul Cooley from Boltgun, and you type the words and you kill the heretics. I assume it's just more of that. I'm not interested in those kind of typing games, but that's cool. That's out. It's free. You want to practice your typing, but cool boomer shooter Warhammer stuff? There you go. Also, has been announced is a remastered version. It's called the Mastercrafted edition of the original Space Marine. Had a little look. I think they're just updating it for modern PCs rather than going for a full remaster and stuff, because the engine looks the same. The textures look a little bit crisper, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely a remaster rather than a remake.
Yes, it's definitely not a remake, and I'm not sure how remastered it is. And they haven't said remastered; they've called it the Mastercrafted. I think they're just updating it for modern systems and stuff. So if you haven't played that, that's the one to play. We Dawn of War Definitive Edition. We're getting a remaster of Dawn of War. Do you know how easy it is to play Dawn of War on modern PCs? Even through GOG, you need to jump through hoops. It's a nightmare.
When was that released again? I remember playing it. It was fucking ages.
No, it's a CD-ROM game, mate. I have no idea when that first came out, because there's two games: Dawn of War 1, Dawn of War 2, and Dawn of War 3 does not exist. Fuck off.
I don't remember Dawn of War 3, so fair.
Good. Nor do I.
Nor do you. Fair.
Because I have chopped that out of my brain. We had an announcement for Boltgun 2. Boltgun 1 is fucking amazing. So Raoul Cooley is back as the titular Boltgun. You just hold him and shoot. No, Raoul Cooley will be back because in the trailer he was in there front and center. If you don't know the story, he was kind of brought in later to make some noises, and they liked him, the noises he makes, so they gave him a few more things to say and stuff as you're going around fighting Duke Nukem style, where he just says some cool shit. From the get-go, I think they're like, hey, Raoul, you want to be the game? So that'll be kind of cool. We got announced from Owlcat Games, Dark Heresy. So Dark Heresy is the Warhammer pen and paper TTRPG. Yeah. And Owlcat are the people who did all the Pathfinder games and the recent Rogue Trader CRPG. I'm very interested in Dark Heresy. I'm down to clown with that because Rogue Trader was very, very good. They've also announced a new expansion DLC for Rogue Trader called Lex Imperialis, which has an Arbites or an Arbites, as you might call them, depending on how you pronounce that, which is basically the Judge Dredd Street Cops. So there's going to be an expansion with a new character with him, which they are also bringing that same class into Darktide. So here's an Arbiter, because I'm currently painting them, with a Cyber Mastiff, which in Darktide, you get a Cyber Mastiff. So that's clearly part of the gameplay of your Arbiters, which, that's pretty cool.
By Cyber Mastiff, I assume that means robot dog.
It's a dog with robot bits rather than a robot dog.
Right.
He's still got his brain. He's still got his brain because AI, artificial intelligence, is heretical as fuck.
As it should be.
he's still got his butt, but there's a lot of mechanical shit going on there.
That's right.
What else have we got? So there's the 2 Boltgun games. Mechanicus 2. I haven't played much Mechanicus. I played a little bit of it, and I remember it being fun enough. It's kind of like what are the games? Turn-based, move around, get behind cover, shoot, 99% miss.
XCOM.
What's that game called? XCOM. It's an XCOM type game. Yeah, if I recall. The only thing I really remember about it was that the soundtrack was fucking incredible. It was like dark, gothic, orchestral dubstep.
Okay, that does sound sick.
Sounds better than the description. I'm going to be real with you.
That sounded fantastic. No, I'm sold.
No, so yeah, we've had announcements. We've had a lot of announcements of stuff and a lot of discounts on games. So if you're into Warhammer or want to dip your toes into Warhammer, go play some Warhammer. And we got some new shit coming out, which I will probably be playing all of them.
Sounds good. Before we talk about what we've been playing, do we want to talk about the Elden Ring movie? Because I have thoughts.
Yeah, we can. Do you thoughts?
Yeah.
I have knee-jerk reaction thoughts. Does that help?
Possibly. Go on, you go ahead, Phil.
Well, I mean, at first I remember when the news was circulating about a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't confirmed because Kev sent it to me, and I told him, I was like, no, I think it's fake. But yeah, Alex Garland was confirmed as the director, and I'm actually not upset about that. So he did like an AMA not too long ago on Reddit. He's also talked pretty candidly. He's a big Souls fan.
He is. He's in New Games Plus like, in Elden Ring. New Game plus 6.
Yeah, for Elden Ring. So
that's actually
I think he's expressively like talked about his affection for the storytelling in Souls.
What has he made?
He's written games as well. He's written a few of the Devil May Cry games. In terms of direction, he's done Ex Machina, Civil War, which is quite a recent one. Warfare, which I think is another recent movie. Men was a good movie, but very underrated.
Men, though, like to be fair, I can't watch that movie ever again. I saw it one time. I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah,
it was really good though. It just upset me.
Annihilation with Natalie Portman as well. I would say Ex Machina and Annihilation are probably his 2 biggest ones. So I heard Civil War did pretty well, but I never watched it. But
he also was a writer for 28 Days. Has he done all? He's done all 328.
He was the writer on all 3 films, including the one that's coming up.
28 Days Later is my favorite zombie film.
Yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of people, to be fair.
Yeah, I watched it not so long ago. It still holds up.
Yeah.
So
it looks like shit though. It's fucking that's some budget camera they're using.
Go on, Paul.
So I think so one of the good, like I know it's kind of a meme now to like make fun of like anyone who likes A24, but the thing with A24 being the studio behind this is they are the only studio currently that's really giving directors the freedom to be like as creative as they want.
Well, the thing is, they've actually been sending out bangers.
For example, you could be as weird as you want, and like they've also recently, not too long ago, they produced the Green Knight.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once, another banger. Like they've been putting out bangers. My concern is budget. For one, A24 do a lot with a small budget. I don't think you can get away with a small budget with Elden Ring. It's going to need CGI out of the wazoo. Maybe they'll know some people. Maybe they'll be like, oh, we can wing it.
That really depends. I personally would really like, and I think would be a really good selling point for an Elden Ring film, is that they still told the story of Vike, who is on the cover art. That's Vike.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be like the highest. He had the highest chance of being Elden Lore before he succumbed to madness. His story is really interesting, and I actually kind of bummed me out that you had to go looking for it.
Yeah.
I think what they could do is what Alex could do is he could take one of those smaller stories that's not really that delved into in the game. It's not like a main primary focus, and you can get away with less CGI that way.
True, but then would it feel like Elden Ring when you're not coming across giant dragon bosses and whatever horrors in the deeps of the like dead forests and stuff? There's so much to Elden Ring
too, because there's also because you have with this. This kind of boils down to what we were saying with the Fallout series. How there's so much going on in Elden Ring because it's an open world. There's so many small stories that if you're going to try to cover all of them, you're going to fail. Like ultimately, there's too many.
I don't think it's the story what they cover, because obviously they're going to have to narrow it down. Huge
I think what they could do is they could take one of those smaller stories that are influential to the main narrative, but still it's something new for fans, existing fans of the games.
For sure.
And also it would bring in a new fan base too.
Absolutely, but unless that is filmed in a single room, that budget's going to be wild.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild. Like that is an entirely green screen, blue screen show.
Yeah.
Right. I'm actually going to remain optimistic on this one. I think Alex Garland's a great director, and I am a fan of a lot of his works. And I think that, like I said, even though it's like kind of a mean to make fun of A24, I think they're the only studio that could actually handle this.
I don't think. I mean, I'm not aware, at least, of anyone that memes on A24. I think A24 has got a reputation now for pumping out bangers.
It's more for like making fun of people who are like pseudo deep, like, oh, I only like A24 films.
Oh, okay.
It's like the thing is that A24 gives a lot of their directors and people when they give them a lot of freedom, creative freedom. You see it in films like Lamb. Lamb's a fucking weird movie. Men is another good example. You had and they have like a repertoire of people who work exclusively with A24 at their disposal too. Like my other choice would have been Robert Eggers, who could have been a really good director. I think Alex Garland's a good choice, especially considering he has shown that he is a fan of the franchise, and I think he will respect it.
I think
when he said he's new game plus 6, I'm like, yeah, that's the right director for that, 100%.
Yeah,
not gonna get a Halo.
I think my two concerns are...
Yeah, you have to get someone who actually appreciates it and enjoys
Halo
the
is shit, Brian. Nobody likes it, Brian. It's shit. Brian quite likes Halo. He thinks it's pretty good.
I didn't say I quite liked it. I enjoyed it. It was one of those things where you can watch. I did point out that most people actually enjoyed it, according to ratings. But
yeah,
anyway.
well, it's okay to be wrong.
I mean, that's fine.
I have data, bitch. But no, my two concerns, as we were touching on, is I'm concerned that A24 won't have the capacity to fulfill. Like they'll give Alex the freedom, and I do believe Alex potentially has the capability, but I don't think they will be able to fulfill that capability with the budget that A24 are usually limited to. There's also the fact that I don't think they can mimic the feel of Elden Ring, because Elden Ring, bear with me, because Elden Ring, the way it's told is obviously the story itself is told through exploration and things like that. You pick up the story. There's very little dialogue and things like that, and it has this feel of you have to go and seek it out. Whereas in the form of a movie, in this case, it's going to be very compact as well. It's going to be probably a lot of exposition. It's going to be a lot of not having a mute lunatic carry the story forward, which is you, the player. You're going to have this character that's suddenly very vocal, and if they're not very vocal, most audiences will probably get bored of it and things like that. So I think it could be a good... I think there is a movie that could be influenced by Elden Ring, but not be Elden Ring, and be a good movie by Alex Garland. But I'm not sure they can make a good Elden Ring movie. If it was a series,
when you think about it, we already have things like Green Knight that actually feels kind of like a From Software.
I didn't like Green Knight
universe, huh?
I didn't like Green Knight. because I thought it was really boring and slow. And that's why I'm concerned that will be the case with Elden Ring as well. If they were to do a series,
I think,
and come at it with multiple characters, kind of like
I think you're looking at this way too big picture when it comes to what kind of story that they'd have to tell for Elden Ring. You don't need a big story, because the big story is Elden Ring.
It's how they tell the story. That's what I was saying. Because Elden Ring doesn't tell you a story.
If they zeroed in on some, because there's so much lore in those games, between the DLC and the base game, and they have George R.R. Martin. I'm pretty sure, like, if they could also get him involved too, because he had a big part in writing that story.
Yeah,
there's a lot they can do, and I think instead of looking at so big pictures, like how can you use all this CGI, making it as crazy as the game exists.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. To be clear, I'm literally not saying that. I'm saying how the story is told, not what they cover of the story, specifically how they tell that story. So let's say they stick with Vike and they try and tell his story. People who are fans of the series have to seek out that story, and they pick it up from exposition through notes, etc. It's not told to them. It's not an active storytelling style, if you know what I mean. Whereas in a movie is very active. You have to keep the audience engaged, and I think that will be jarring to a lot of Elden Ring fans, because they're slowly being exposition to, and it's just like, oh, here's this story about Vike, for example, and they're going to be like, oh, this feels a bit weird. Which is why I think if it was influenced by Elden Ring, that would be different, because then they could make that separation of, oh, it just has influences, in the same way that Elden Ring is influenced by Berserk, but they don't just go, this is Berserk, this feels weird because it isn't done the same way that the Berserk manga's done, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So and again, if it was done through a series, I think it would be better anyway, because then you could just fit in those extra stories, and that way you would have room to keep them sparse, in the same way that you would, say, with Game of Thrones, or very recently The Wheel of Time, where you've got loads of short stories, but they're happening and they intertwine at the same time. So there's always something to keep the viewer engaged without overloading them on one specific story, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
The delivery.
So I'm
delivery.
going to give them a little time to cook on this, because we don't even know what he's planning to do.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
My knee-jerk reaction when I heard it was, they can't afford that.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure there's not going to be a shortage of people who want to invest in that, considering the studio's success.
It was one of the biggest. It's still like a pretty successful game.
Yeah, but considering the success of the game, of the studio, the director, like, I don't think there'll be a shortage of investors, but the amount of money you would need to show that visually on, because you need to show that visually on the screen, unless they do something different, because you're not going to get realism for $20.
Yeah,
it is about money, and when you're talking about CG, money and time. Like, artists don't, when you see shit CGI, it's not because the artists aren't very good, it's because they need more time, which costs money.
Yeah.
So my knee jerk is, they can't afford that. But I am interested, even though I'm not super into like Souls and Elden Ring and the story and stuff. I am interested to see what happens. I have a feeling, when you're talking about delivery, Bryan, you know, when you look at the Bad Robot, what's it called? The company that did all the Love, Death and Robots.
Yes. Yeah.
All the video game things. A lot of their stories that are most compelling don't really tell you anything. They kind of just go through and you get a vibe of a story rather than a story.
But that's short form, though.
That
works, I think, in short form. Which is why I was saying, like, let's use that example. In fact, Love, Death and Robots, you've got this anthology of stories. Obviously, they happen in an order, whereas if it was in a series, that, like I said, they could intertwine, and you could have different characters and follow whatever stories you want as you watch the film, or rather the series. But yeah, if it was an animation, I'd be a lot less concerned as well, obviously with the budget. But yeah, even if they were focusing on just one specific story, everything in like in comparison to the Green Knight. The Green Knight, it was just like, oh, here's a proxy castle, and there's like like 50 people in the castle. Whereas in Elden Ring, it's like, here's the castle the size of a planet, and it's very intricate, and it's got all these details. That's going to be CGI as fuck.
And it's 78,000 miles away, and get where you have to go through all this terrain.
And there's this giant fucking tree in the background, and oh, there's another giant fucking tree, and there's some other giant fucking trees, and these are all like, oh, and there's giant canopies that float. You know, it is going to be a CGI expenditure that I just don't think they're going to be able to overcome. Plus, they're going to have to make sure if they do get that budget, that they can make it back.
Yes.
They've got to make that money back in sales in the box office, the global box office. Like, I think Portassi said it. He was like, I like the idea, but I just don't see how A24 can make a $300 million movie. And that's like an appropriate figure as well. Like, A24 have made fantastic movies and made large profits off small budgets. Like, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once was 70 grand budget, maybe less. Like, and that made
Roger
like
Corman's school of cinema, right? You have this much money, make the best thing you can.
Yeah.
And you can see the cracks, but you can make a profit on it because people will still watch it and enjoy it to a degree.
Yeah.
But it's Elden Ring. It looks like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I was like, I'm not against it, to be clear. I'm just, I want to be optimistic because Elden Ring, that's sick. But my, I suppose, knee-jerk reaction, or what was it? Your meat-jerk reaction?
My meat-jerk reaction
was, ooh,
censored.
I'm a bit worried kind of thing. Like, I hope they can do it, but I don't really think
I'm not
they
worried
will.
because I have no skin in the game.
Yeah, no, that's fair play. That's fair play. Let's talk about what we've been playing. So, Peachy, you are very keen to talk about Doom: The Dark Ages.
Okay. Are we sure?
I mean, you're setting up like you're going to be really neggy about it, but I feel like you enjoyed it, so
okay,
go for it.
Doom: The Dark Ages is a very good FPS. If you interested in FPS, if you saw it and thought that looks cool, and you buy it and you play it, you will not be disappointed. It is a very fun, big, intricate, beautiful FPS.
Can I just interject quickly?
Yeah.
Are you a Returnal enjoyer?
Returnal.
The bullet hell FPS.
I like Returnal.
Which one's Returnal?
Returnal's it's the roguelite.
It's a bullet hell when you have to fight the bosses.
I enjoyed the first one. I haven't played the second one.
There isn't a second one.
There's only one.
Oh, am I thinking of the wrong thing?
Yeah, you are. It's the one where she crash lands on a planet and she's in a loop, and which kind of sets it up to be a roguelite.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Okay.
I like it. It's hard. I have never beaten it.
I saw this, but it didn't look like my vibe.
Right. Sorry. Continue.
Okay. So, yeah, if you want a good FPS, play Doom. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of polish. It's great. It's got cool mechanics. Maybe an over reliance on the parry mechanic, but it's fun. I will now be a Doom fan. This game is fucking shit. This game is fucking awful. It is a besmirching Doom. Okay, there might be some hyperbole here.
Yeah, I feel like
I enjoyed my time with the game, and I stopped streaming it. I'll be playing it offline. I've played a bunch more. Oh boy, where to start? Okay, Doom 2016 was phenomenal. It brought these mechanics that were a little bit rough around the edges. It wasn't finely tuned, but it was good. It was this push-pull combat chess kind of deal. Arenas, kill the things, move on to the next thing, manage your resources as best you can. And the way it delivered story was, it was absolute perfection.
Because the story was evil corporations summoning demons, go fuck them up. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you're on board.
Yeah.
But no, there was story given to you. Doom guy doesn't talk. There's no cutscenes. Well, there are cutscenes, but they're not like
minimal
exposition cutscenes, what people might call story. And Doom guy is a mute and acts through actions. He doesn't say the things, he does the things. Like where the guy's telling, don't do the thing that's bad, and he just punches it, like basically, shut the fuck up, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And it was phenomenal. Then Doom Eternal came out. Doom Eternal's mechanics are probably the greatest game mechanics I've ever experienced in my life. This whole push-pull combat chess, manage resources, kill the fuck out of demons, be an absolute god, the Doomslayer. Perfection. Brilliant game. Easily in my top 10, like without a shadow of a doubt. The story was cutscenes and exposition, and it grated on me a little bit, but the spectacle was fucking cool. And I'm like, I'll give concessions to how you're delivering this story because some of these things you set up are really cool, and the gameplay is second to none. But you've gone the wrong direction with the story. That's okay. You're trying new things. You're moving on to the next one to make it better. And for the most part, you succeeded with some caveats that I didn't think were the best, but were fine in the situation. Doom the Dark Ages no longer has push-pull combat. It no longer has combat chess. Kind of does. It no longer has small arenas that you need to work through and push out. It has giant fucking maps. Giant maps sound cool, right? Look at all that scenery. It looks great. When I am in combat and target acquisition, if there is something 38,000 miles away from me, I can't even tell if that's a target I need to kill. I have no idea if that's an important target right now. I've got to deal with what's in front of me, and I have to parry literally everything. The parry mechanic is fine. I enjoy it. I think it's a good idea. There is an over-reliance on it, I feel. And it is the focus of gameplay. It is circle, strafe, parry, shoot. The guns mean basically nothing. You use which gun you want rather than I need this tool. I need to use a wrench for this nut. I need to use a hacksaw for this. Like, none of that. It's basically when you get a new gun, it's basically an upgrade to your old gun. It's very slow. There is no more crazy movement that you had in the other games where you're moving about your arena and taking out targets and doing stuff like that. You are constantly under attack, which is cool. I like the intensity of the battles is they've got that right. What they don't have right, in my opinion, as a Doom fan, is you're very reactionary. Doomguy is a very proactive protagonist, right? He goes in, he kills the demons. They're fucking terrified of him. You wait for something to attack you, you parry it, and then you do the thing. It feels very much like, ooh, okay, now I got you. But it feels very defensive. A lot of people have described Doom 2016 as a Lamborghini, Doom Eternal as a jet fighter, and Doom the Dark Ages as a tank. And I think that's apt. The playstyle for sure, but a tank is very different to the other two than they are from themselves. And there's a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of good ideas, and I like a lot of things in there. If they didn't call it Doom, perhaps if they called it Quake, I would not have the sheer disappointment I had from the first 4 hours of playing that game. That I had playing Doom, and it was really hard to shift that. The next day, I was like, okay, I need to play how this game is, and I need to forget about the other stuff and enjoy that game. And I did enjoy Doom Dark Ages. It is good. Music? It's a good FPS. The music is absolute soulless corporate shit and can fuck off. Really? And they know that because they turn it down in the game.
I've heard the mixing's really fucky. Like, it's really hard to actually. Is it really bad? Well, apparently it cuts out randomly. Like, it would just suddenly stop. And apparently it's like really difficult to actually get it to a volume that is worth having it. Like, it just, you can't turn it up beyond a certain point.
Because maps and the gameplay environments are so big, it's encounters, the music starts rising and you're fighting and stuff. But it's very low in the mix. Because I will say the sound design, sound effects and all that other stuff, not the music, is fucking amazing. Like, it's even better than the other games. It is so visceral and real, and you feel impacts, and when you die you're like, oh yeah, I felt that like internally in my own body. It's very good. But yeah, the music is absolute shit. It's just generic rock. And there are a few tracks that kind of rise to do the thing. You know, like when you got a gun in Doom, the music would swell with a certain part that was set up to do this. And you pick up the gun and you cock it and everything's all timed and just like, oh.
Do you think do you think you perceive it as shit because it's not Mick Gordon, and that is a hard person to follow up?
No, because if you look at Old Gods, the DLC for Eternal, it's made by people like Andrew Hulsher, who is really good, but it's made by a lot of different artists, and they're doing their thing. They're making real music, and I'm sorry if you worked on the music in this game, but you made that with money, not with heart and soul, and. Look, I have an odd relationship with music.
They screwed over Mick Gordon.
They did screw over Mick Gordon in the game, and he didn't come back for the DLC. But the people who filled in were real artists.
Sorry, I'm stealing that. That is so good.
The people who filled in for the DLC, proper artists making music and like understanding what the game needed and the timing and all that stuff. And this is just like, oh, we need some heavy fight music here. Here's some heavy fight music. This is fucking AI could have made it. It didn't. It's better than that, but it feels so flat and lifeless. And they knew, and it's down in the mix, and it's just kind of there because in most cases, you're in just a massive, wide open space. And they have to bring the music up when you get into a fight and then drop it down. Like old Doom, Monster Closet, boom. There are a couple of instances in that game where you're in a room, it locks you in a room, drops monsters in you, and you need to figure out how to deal with this fight because they are in your face and there are important targets you need to take and ones you need to ignore and ones you need to get health from or armor from. And that is when the game is really fucking good. And this might happen once in a giant map when they do a Monster Closet, when Doom gets doomy again. I'm so fucking disappointed. The story is absolute fucking batshit nonsense, and I have no idea what the fuck is happening. And who are these people? Who is this woman? She's the queen? No, she's the daughter of the king? Why do I care? Yeah. I want to rip and tear, but instead I'm hiding behind my shield, and I don't feel like the Doomslayer. I feel like, I don't know, it's still a good game, and that's what's really hard to deal with. It's fun enough. If you like FPS, this is, one of the best ones in a while, for sure. Gunplay is great. The mechanics are great. But it's not it's not like nothing as good as the Doom Eternal, because Doom Eternal was almost a masterpiece.
It's interesting, because I've been watching a number of different people play it and watched a bunch of different reviews, because I eventually want to check it out. And there's, as with Doom Eternal, there's like a pattern forming where people fall into like certain groups, and you fall into this pattern. Whereas, like with Doom Eternal, there's people like yourself who loved it. There were other people that didn't like it because it had loads of platforming and it wasn't like 2016. And there were people that thought it was too hard or frustratingly hard and things like that. Then you've got this third game, which again,
I do think Doom Eternal is quite easy, and this is even easier.
Yeah. So with this one, I've seen a lot of people say yes, it is easier, but they like that it's easier because it's not frustratingly difficult, in their opinion, as compared to Eternal. And I think it deserves kudos because they've got these 3 games now where each one is a different game. Like Eternal is fundamentally different compared to 16. And now this one is fundamentally different, where again,
Eternal is not fundamentally different. Eternal is like,
I would say it is. As someone who's also played it, one of the major complaints is that it is like there's significantly more platforming, and this, like as you say, this back and forth in Eternal, and that just didn't vibe with some people. Whereas with 3, they've changed the formula again, and they've gone more for the bullet hell, which is why I asked if you liked Returnal, because I've seen a lot of people who like Returnal who really like Dark Ages because it's this similar bullet hell vibe, and because they're really good at bullet hell, they're also moving around really, really super fast, and they're gods at it basically.
They've removed all movement from it. It's no longer a movement shooter. It's a circle strafe shooter.
Find people who play bullet hell games, and I imagine their gameplay is significantly different to yours. And that's not a dig on your gameplay, to be clear. But what I'm saying is, like, there are people who have mastered it, and they are all over the place. I've seen people speedrun it, and they literally traverse a map within seconds. Like, there is some insane shit that you can do by like throwing the shield and stuff, and like using it to like pull yourself along. One of the things that I've seen that has been pretty much universally agreed on is like, yes, the story is a bit weird, and it's not just like be again a mute lunatic kind of thing. Like the fact that they're trying to make the Doomslayer this more deep, involved character has just felt a bit out of place. A lot of people have also said that the like mech and dragon bits are like kind of okay.
I didn't even touch on them, did I?
Yeah, so like apparently they're kind of okay if you wanted a break and you've just got something to break it up, but they're also really basic bitch, and they could have done so much more with it if they were going to do it.
The dragon is more fun than the Titan, but it's still,
it's pretty basic from what I've been seeing. It's like, oh, you're a dragon, press button to shoot shit. It's like,
cool to fly around as a dragon.
Yeah.
You've got that in between the basic combat, but it's not fun to move around as the Titan, which was fine. I'm like, okay, that was good. Let's not do that again. That was a cool little break. You know, games do that sometimes. They give you a turret section. Oh my god, there's so many turret sections. There are turret sections in my Doom.
But yeah, like I said, I think it's interesting because it's clear that they wanted the game to feel different.
100%. They've gone back to old Doom circle strafe.
Sure.
100%.
Because they've done that, people are like, no, I want 2016. No, I want Eternal. And obviously that's divided up the player base, I think.
If you like Eternal, you like 2016, because Eternal, to me, feels like they have honed the blade of 2016, ignoring the story and how that was delivered, which wasn't very good, in my opinion. This is worse, but...
I personally preferred 2016 to Eternal. And I know a fair few people did, because it had less platforming and just felt smoother, I feel like.
I disagree, but I enjoyed the movement in 2016. I did enjoy the movement in 2016, but it was a bit clunky, and Eternal kind of just smoothed all that clunky movement. But the second I understood how they wanted me to play 2016, I got it. And it wasn't that big of a leap to go, this is how they want me to play Eternal. And I sat down and I took a break, and I'm like, I'm going to play Dark Ages how they want me to play it.
Yeah.
And I do not feel like a god anymore. And that made me sad.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a controversial game. I think most people...
I have bias, for sure.
Have been like, yeah, it's good, but it's not what... And well, most people said it's good, but not everyone has gotten what they want out of it, such as yourself. I think that's a fair way
and
to
if you like stories, there is something there. I don't know. there's something going. There's a lot of shit going on.
There is a lot of shit. But
there was a mission actually where I'm just getting the odd clip from the radio. We're going, oh my god, we have to kill that thing. I'm like, yes, that's how I deliver it. Yeah, give me that. You need to get the trinket. I don't care what the fucking trinket is. I gotta get the trinket.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate a lot of the things that they've done.
Do you like it shows you where the secrets are? Like, question: would you prefer a game that has challenges to get to secrets, but shows you where the secrets are, or would you rather have to discover the secrets?
No, I like the way they do the secrets, and technically they don't tell you where all the secrets are. You have to kind of discover where they are.
Yeah.
But when you kind of, because you'll like this happened in the old games. Like there is a mission, we're getting the secrets in the it's like a forge when there's lava everywhere, and getting all those secrets is a fucking nightmare, and everyone hates it. But you kind of see it, and they will kind of mark it on your map. Then, because there are some things that are kind of hidden, but they
once it's in range, it appears on the map. Kind of.
Yeah, a bit more like that. But I like secrets like that. They show you, oh, gold shiny thing. Okay,
there's a thing to chase, but it's going to be a bitch to get to it, as opposed to I had to break down 300 walls because I hit them with my sword, like in Elden Ring, for example, or something like that.
I don't actually like. The thing is, you can like. I wasn't often using the map, only when I was clearing all the secrets. Like, because I find a bunch of secrets by going, oh, there's a thing there. Or, why is there a turning there? I'm going to go and have a look. That's got to be a secret. Like, I think the secret is fine. I never liked original Doom secrets, which is very, like, you basically spacebar hump a wall.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on then, I'll quickly talk about Khazan.
Doom is shit!
Doom is shit!
But you should buy it.
Or get it on Game Pass, which is what Peachy was doing, because he's a liar.
I forgot. Okay, I need to address this really quickly. I got Game Pass for £1. I'm like, that's worth it. That's worth it. And I forgot to cancel it.
I mean, playing Expedition 33 through Game Pass.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to talk about Expedition 33 today.
Oh, no, we're not talking about today.
In order to defeat the enemy, you must know the enemy, Bryan.
Yeah,
well, whatever.
We are gonna talk about it, but not today.
That's all that matters to me.
Well, I need to play it as well. So once we've all played it, we'll do a spoiler cast. No, I only bought it like 2 days ago, and I've been on Marvels and stuff like that and doing voice acting shit. But
by the way, guys, I platinumed this game already. I've been waiting to talk about it with these two assholes.
Listen,
I've done the prologue and the first part of the mission.
I will finish it within the next 2 weeks, if 4 weeks at tops, and we'll get a fourth person to spoiler cast with.
Out. Like if you don't do all the side content, it's like 40, 60 hours.
Yeah, we'll have it done so we can do a cool spoiler cast for it. In the meantime, though, I've been playing the First Berserker Khazan, and I've been enjoying it.
Oh, did they fix the bug in it?
What bug?
I was playing it. What was it? Just not too. Let me pull up the date. I was playing on the 16th, and somebody came in my chat and was like, "Hey, there's a bug. The loot's dropping. It wasn't showing up."
Oh,
and actually, I caught on.
Yeah.
I caught on to that as soon as he did. That's why I stopped playing.
There was a patch that came out, I think, on the 16th.
Yeah.
Where if you looted chests, you wouldn't get it, and then they fixed it the next day.
Oh, okay. So it's already fixed.
Yeah,
okay,
they hot fixed it literally within 24 hours.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's why I was confused, because I didn't play it during those 2 patches, and I was reading the patches, and I was like, oh, I missed that. Nice.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. The patch came out. I was like, oh, and Kev asked me to play it, and I went. And I started up again. And I was like, okay, I was starting to get the groove again, and then someone was like, hey, do you know there's a bug right now? I'm like, God damn it.
There is one bug they've not got rid of, and I don't think they will, and that is the weapon you acquired during the demo is the best weapon in the game, because it has better scaling than every other weapon in the game.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so you can augment it and eventually make it better in like other ways, like you can add stuff to it, but the scaling on it is B+ on both the like scaling types. So I'm using a spear, so I think it's proficiency in willpower, I want to say. And every other spear I found has been less. So even though the base damage is always lower, although I've made it bigger because I can now upgrade it because of what NPCs I've got. You can get a blacksmith who upgrades it basically. Even before that, even before that, with like it had like base damage of 64, and I'd be finding weapons with base damage 200. But because the scaling is so much better, it would always out DPS every other weapon. So that's the one bug they haven't fixed. And I think that's because they're scared if they fix it, people will be like, they nerfed my weapon that I've been invested in like for the last 40 hours. What the fuck? So they're kind of in a rock and a hard place on that one. It's not too big a deal though, I suppose. But otherwise, I've been having a lot of fun. I've not really been paying attention to the story. I thought I would. But the boss fights have been really, really, really fulfilling. There's been some that I've like just one shot and I was just like, oh, I had a good time, thanks, bye, kind of thing. And there was some that would take me a good hour or two, and I'd just be like trying to learn it, downloading it, as Kat would say, like the download phase. So like, there's been a few things where I've not gotten frustrated. It's just like, oh, I've got to learn these movesets, and some of them will be very, very similar. So it's like, okay, I need to find the nuances that make that slash attack slightly different from that slash attack, you know, that sort of thing. And there was one boss who made me a little bit angry, and that's because in true Souls-like form, he has a delayed attack, or he has many delayed attacks where he'll go, bitch, like that, and just suddenly smack you out of like 10 seconds later.
The worst.
It's the attack itself. There's like 3 versions of it as well, so you never quite know which version he's going to do. But he's got a samurai sword or katana or whatever, and he sheaves it, and then it's the unsheath attack, and sometimes it will dash at you and do a spin, and other times he'll just dash through you, and other times he'll sort of dash in the air, and you're like, which one is it? And you've got to block it, and like that was a little bit frustrating, but
he's so cool because he can pee with his katana. Yeah,
exactly. But thankfully, it's only been the one boss. Otherwise, the bosses have been really, really fun. The environments have been really, really fun. The artwork, I do love the artwork, and you can get transmogs. They've actually done in one of these patches, you couldn't get transmog until I believe New Game Plus, but they've just added it so you can get it like really early in the game. Yeah,
so, I think the only thing I did is I turned off the helmet because I'm like, you give this man amazing hair.
Yeah.
And you put a helmet on that?
Yeah.
No.
Well, some of that you can get like eye patches and shit now. So there may be a helmet where you're like, I get helmet and hair, woohoo, kind of thing. Whereas I had like this ugly ass helmet that I hated.
Do you know what I get is like it just gives off the impression of like when I'm wearing a baseball hat and I put my ponytail through the back.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing now.
It's like, let's go, girls.
Let's do it. Doing it with the bun. Yeah.
He's got a top knot.
I'm very impressed with the art style, like this graphic novel anime-esque art style. I think it works really well. There have been some frame drops.
It works really well, and like when it comes to a lot of these anime art styles, like I'm glad they went more like berserky kind of,
more berserk, less Genshin kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are frame drops, and it's really annoying because the way it seems to frame drop is it will load in a new asset that you've not seen before. Like it happened a lot with this boss, where this boss would do like a flamethrower attack. Yeah, so like for example, this boss would have like this mace and like a flamethrower attack, and then the first time he did the flamethrower attack, so it had to load in these flames, and it just dropped my FPS from like 100 to like 30, and it hitched massively, and then I died because of this hitch. So because for 30 seconds I was like, I'm suddenly moving really slow, kind of like weirdly and like shit like that. And then once it did that same attack, it wouldn't happen again. So there is that, and it's a little bit annoying because there were so many times where I was like, oh, I'm about to one-shot this boss, and then he would do something new that involved new assets, and then I'd die, and I'm like, you motherfucker,
so
kind of thing.
It's not funny like that it happened to you, but that's so funny, like that's how it lined up.
Yeah, it's really weird because obviously it's one of those games where at the beginning you have to endure.
Is it double A? It's not like.
Well, it's supposed to be.
I mean, because it's like it's not quite indie. It's a really solid, polished piece of media.
It's NetEase, and it was supposed to be, I believe, an MMO that was Dungeon Fighter or whatever. Like it's basically a side story of Dungeon Fighter or whatever it's called.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I that's fucking crazy. I didn't even know that.
I can't remember if it is Dungeon Fighter. It's something Fighter. There's an established franchise which has Fighter in the name. Yeah, Dungeon Fighter. And then they were like, oh, we're actually just gonna make it a single player Souls-like.
So the last time I played, when I got it, I didn't finish the demo. So I got it was in that snowy area. I got lost so many times. I remember I found the last of the graves in the demo, and then I died on them because like that game can get kind of brutal. They don't give you a lot of checkpoints in between some of those areas, and then you know you'll go and you're completely depleted of everything, and I would just get decimated. And I got lost trying to find that grave again, and I think that's why. One of my main complaints with the game so far has been no access to a map of any kind. So and it's kind of similar to Wukong, how it's like you kind of get a little bit turned around.
You'll be happy to hear, at least to the part that I've gotten to, the first part of the game, the demo stage, the tutorial, is the most complex part. It hasn't been that complex since. There's been a lot of places where you'd loop around and come back to yourself.
The demo was surprisingly kind of windy in certain parts. Like that snow area, I don't know what it was. I could not navigate it whatsoever.
Oh no, 100%. Like it's very labyrinthian, but like after that, it's not as labyrinthian. I picked
up the main game, the full game, and I think it was right after I saw you were playing it. I picked it up. Kat picked it up for me rather, and he asked, "Did you play it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I remember why I stopped.
Right, you just got lost.
I got lost.
Yeah, once you get out of that bit, it's a lot easier.
Again, and because I was, I forgot what game I was playing before. It wasn't a Souls game, but I was playing something else before, and the one thing that gets me with games like for First Berserker Khazan, this is not making fun of First Berserker Khazan, it's just in general, like they'll be Souls-like, but they don't take all the controls. They don't take the controls with it, like while they're like trying to emulate the Souls experience in a way. But they don't like the key mapping's different on the controller, because a game like that I play with controller. It's so wonky on a keyboard mouse. Instead of doing like R1, R2 like most Souls games do, and my brain at least, lines up with that whenever I play a Souls like, and the parries on the correct mapping on the controller with this game, but it's X and Y for attack. So it takes me a little bit of time to readjust to the key mapping on the controller. So when I finally found the grave that I died on, and I was like, oh fuck, finally, dude, I'm gonna get through this tutorial area finally. Then I died, and then because of what I just said, like, you know, they deplete you of your resources to get there, and then because there's a big honking guy there because you had to go up the ladder, and there's the archers and everything, and then I just stopped playing, and Kevin's like, did you give it another chance? I'm like, yeah. I died again. I just started for this shit.
Yeah, it's what I think.
I did get through it. I actually got through it before I started streaming it, and then that was when someone came in and was like, "Hey, there's a bug." I'm like, I'm never gonna play this game.
No, thankfully they got rid of that.
That's good. I'm glad they fixed it.
I do think one distinction that is important to make is when I refer to it as a Souls-like, I do mean that in the way that I would call Wukong a Souls-like. Like it has lanterns or whatever. Like the combat is fundamentally different. If you're someone who likes fighting games, I think you'll really like Berserker.
The difference is with Wukong, it didn't have that the gameplay element where like you lose your experience when you die. Whereas Khazan does replicate that. Like you do have to go find your souls again. I do like that they put it before a boss. Like if you die on a boss,
super nice.
And that's very nice of them. Very charitable.
You gain souls for attempts as well. So if you're like struggling against a boss, you will still actually get some.
Actually, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like a really early game boss, like say you get like 10% of the way through and he dunks on you, you get 100 souls, but then you get 90% of the way through and you will suddenly get like 1,000. So you can like if you have multiple attempts, you can be like, fuck it, maybe I need to level up. Oh, I've accrued souls. I'll just quickly go to the boss lantern that's like bonfire, whatever that's nearby, Blade Nexus as they call it in Kazan, and you can actually gain levels.
Like, call everything a bonfire. Yeah, I'm doing that in Exposition 33 as well.
Yeah, that's fair. But like, if you like fighting combat, I would say like a fighting games combat, because like in Wukong, you can basically customize how your playstyle is. Like you pick your weapon has certain animations, then you can add combos, and then those combos can synergize with other combos. You can then invest into parry mechanics or counter mechanics. You can invest into dodge mechanics. I've gone pretty much full dodge. So every time I do a dodge, I then get an uber combo of murdering death that has like extra hits because of it.
Dodge? I've been parrying.
I use parry only on attacks where it's impossible to dodge. Like if it's a massive screen-wide AoE and you can't, there's no jump, which is a bit annoying because there's so many attacks where it's like you literally could just jump.
I feel like the parry window is very generous.
Yes, the parry window is
generous. I kind of put this game in the same criteria as like I would put Wukong is a good example, and also Lies of P because it has the same kind of the skill trees. In comparison to a Souls game that doesn't really have skill trees, that's more about creating your build from your own.
It's like the weapon dictates pretty much everything. Yeah, and then adding a spell.
Yeah, and I feel like that these kind of three, like, and all three are independently great games. Like so. But because they have like you have your set weapon, like sure you can change your staff or something, or change, use a dual blade, or in Lies of P it's like you switch your hilt. But for the most part, there's like going to be like this one play style that works best for most people or most players, and most of your customization is going to be in your skill tree. I feel like, but nothing necessarily bad. Like that's not a criticism. It's just I feel you're not going to get as much customization as like when you think of like a Souls like words or a Souls game where your character can be as unique as you want it to be. You know.
Well, I would argue because obviously in Souls games, your weapon dictates like your moveset. But you can't, aside from like Ashes of War and things like that.
The two weapons I was dual wielding.
Yeah. And that's the thing with like Khazan, you go, okay, you could have one player who also picks the dual weapon, say we both pick it, but you may invest into the brutal attacks or the backstabs or something that gives you more backstabs.
That's what I like about Khazan is it gives you more customization in that regard, utilizing that skill tree, because that skill tree is massive.
Yeah.
And I do like that it allows you, like, if you decide halfway through your play, at least this was during the demo, I don't know how you feel like later down the game, but while I was playing through the demo, and when they were introducing all the different weapon types, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna try using this. You can respec entirely without any charge, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And that's very generous of the developers to do that, because when because you don't know if you're gonna be playing. You're like, you're gonna find a wicked cool spear, and you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been spec'd into a two-hander this whole time.
Except,
So it's like instead of having to like sacrifice everything and start again, I like that you can just kind of reinvest.
I agree partially, but because the demo weapons are more powerful, you end up not doing that because you go, well, I've got this demo weapon that's more powerful than every other weapon I find in the game.
Entertain me for a second, Bryan.
Otherwise, no,
just
you are.
Entertain me and just be like, hey, yeah, there's a wicked cool spear somewhere. I don't know. Just lie to her, make her feel better.
If it wasn't for that bug, that would be spot on. 100% agree. But because you go, oh, I've got this demo weapon that's level 17 and it's better than the level 60 weapon or every other weapon I find throughout the game because the scaling's broken it. Yeah, it is a shame on that aspect. But otherwise, you are correct. And even if it's...
I kind of hope they fix that then, because like then that doesn't give you much incentive to start seeking out new weapons.
Well, the one thing I would, in lieu of your point, is you may start with one weapon and you go, you know what, I'm not actually vibing with this style. Maybe the dual wielding is too fast, or maybe the greatsword is too slow. Fuck it. Well,
I'm too good.
But no, like the dual weapons are obviously, excuse me, supposed to be really, really fast. The greatsword's supposed to be big swinging hits. The spear's supposed to be kind of in the middle but long range and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even within those weapon sets, you can be like, okay, I want to go for the big heavy hit attacks and then set up combos that synergize with each other with those heavy attacks. Like mine, what I do is I've gone for loads of light attacks that build stagger up really, really quickly. As soon as I stagger them, I stab them and I move them behind. I just like go and then swing them around, and then I'm immediately behind them, which means I can immediately follow up with a brutal attack and like visceral or backstab them, whatever you want to call it, depending on the game you're playing. And then I can also then follow up with more stagger thereafter immediately. I've got all the stamina on the planet, so it's very difficult for me to run out of stamina as well. So like if I didn't like that, I could then go, you know what, fuck it, I want to go with all the lunges. So there's like heavy attacks where you can set up combos where you have to run at them, do an overhead swing with the spear, and then that enables you to do another like swinging spinny attack and shit like that. There's a lot of customization there that I think is really, really, really fun. However, we don't have time to discuss this any further. What we will do, ladies and gentlemen, is next week we'll be talking about Dark Souls 2, because Pope's been playing a lot of Dark Souls 2. And the precinct.
When I was told about the bug, I went to Dark Souls 2 because I haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah, that's cool. So we'll talk about that next week, and well, not next week, sorry, next episode, and whatever else that comes up in the news cycle. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to very quickly touch on before we do shoutouts?
Yes, the first Berserker Khazan looks like every other Dark Souls.
Wrong. But okay. Like I said, it's not a Dark
someone who
Souls.
Doesn't like Souls likes too much, the odd thing here and there. I don't think this will change my mind.
That's fair. Like I said,
it looks cool though. It looks fucking
just play Expedition 33, Peachy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, wait till we talk about the Souls-like elements.
Isn't the music really nice so far?
Yeah. Do you know what isn't nice?
So by the way, I actually went out and bought that soundtrack, but don't buy it on Steam. Go on to Bandcamp.
Yeah, they've recently done like the vinyls
directly from the composer.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. The only thing I currently hate is the parry mechanic.
That's fair. You can avoid the parry mechanic and just go full dodge. I've been told.
No,
and the dodge mechanic.
Get used to it. It becomes very.
I know. Don't worry. I know this, but. Oh boy!
It took a while.
I have heard this.
There's a sound if you listen for it, Peachy.
Apparently, yeah. My chat was saying that people are going off audio cues better. I need to get good. I need to get good.
No, it's definitely one of those games. But like,
you know the combo stuff you do, the QTE.
To talk about it.
So you know the QTE for attacking. You can turn that off in the settings, and it will auto complete.
Yeah, but you can't drop pairing.
That's the only one I want to turn off.
Yeah, I thought the same thing because I was struggling with the pairing a couple times. Where I'm like, can I just turn it off? And it's like, no, it's the one thing I don't need help with.
Who cares about the QTE? It shows you.
Yeah. It's the one thing you don't need help with that they offer help with.
For what I've been told, if you lower the difficulty, that does have a big impact on the pairing.
I don't want to lower the difficulty because
I played on normal, dude.
I like complexity in my turn-based stuff. I really like that to be difficult. I wish Doom does this really well. I didn't say this, but praises on Doom. They've got granular difficulty that you can be like, oh, I want the parry window to be bigger. I want to do more damage. I want them to do less. You can change so many aspects, which is fucking amazing. But they did a lot of good things with that game, Brian. It's just really shit.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
it won't hurt you anymore.
when you get to like the later game, when you get to the later game, especially with like all those pictos you're gonna start picking up and everything, you can make builds where you don't even need to parry it once because you'll probably one-shot everybody.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't want to do that either.
Yeah, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to do anything. You just to play how you want to play.
Let's do shout-outs. Pope, where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Pulp Fiction. I'm a former Instagram alternate variety streamer, and you can find me on all my social media under Pulp Fiction because I'm no longer on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky, but I haven't really been posting on social media lately. But I will be back tomorrow. I'm playing Dark Souls 2. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. I lost my character, so I'm starting from the beginning and just kind of speed running it, and that's what I've been doing. And yeah. There's nothing crazy, but I'll be live tomorrow. I'm gonna probably go live around 3:30 Pacific Standard Time to make up for today, because I'm not gonna be live today because I have D&D. PG.
Hi, my name is Peach. You can find me on twitch.tv/PeachyPixel8. I'm currently playing Expedition 33. It's wow, that's how you tell a story. Jesus Christ. And on Monday it's my birthday, and I will be playing Warhammer
Happy
40K.
birthday.
Thank you. Warhammer 40K Speed Freaks multiplayer. So if I don't usually stream on a Monday, but if you want to play some multiplayer with me on Monday, you can do that over on twitch.tv/PeachyPixel8. Bryan.
Thank you, as always, to my co-hosts for joining us. Thank you for Peachy for coming back. Just disappearing for 4 fucking weeks, this silly little bastard. But no, if you want to find me and my content, you can basically find me anywhere and everywhere under Bryan the Pirates. Tomorrow, I will either be streaming more First Berserker Khazan, or out of fear of spoilers, because I am struggling to dodge them on Twitter and other social media, I'll probably be actually playing Expedition 33. Although I'm also in 2 minds to not stream it because of that very same reason, but we'll have to see. I'll be giving it a go tomorrow, probably, more than likely. But you can find me, like I said, on twitch.tv/Bryan the Pirate. Otherwise, thank you all, as always, for joining us. It has been a pleasure, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time, unless Peachy goes on holiday again. And yeah, farewell.
One time in my life I've been on holiday, bro.
We'll remember you. Bye-bye.
You left us. Bye.